Hello everybody, my name is Lewis, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the Apple Vision Pro. Now, I see a lot of people literally praising Apple for this headset, like everyone loves it, but I don't see enough people talking about the cons, so that's what I'm going to do. There are a lot of issues that I see with this headset before it even releases, and then when it does release, there might be even more. So I wanted to talk about them. So the first issue that I see is thermal throttling. It has an M2 and an R1 chip. If the M2 MacBook Air is anything to go off of Apple's cooling performance, especially without any fans, this thing is probably going to thermal throttle a lot. Like a lot. And I think Apple knows this, which is why they're going to limit the performance of that M1 chip a lot. I think this thing is basically just going to be an oversized iPad, because they mentioned that you're going to be able to play Apple Arcade games on it, which, that's cool. But in that same keynote, they talked about porting over games to Mac using their Apple Developer Toolkit, and for some reason, they didn't think to mention that you could play those on the Apple Vision as well. I mean, maybe not, but if it has an M1 chip, there's no reason I shouldn't be able to play desktop games on it, or, any actual VR games, and not just Apple Arcade games that are just projected onto a screen in front of me in 2D. You telling me I can't play any desktop games while still being in that 2D screen with a game controller? I think something's going on there, and they're limiting the performance a lot to counteract that thermal throttling, and they're putting an M2 chip in there so everyone gets excited about it, when in actuality, it's just going to be as good as their A14 Bionic. Second issue, battery life. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are talking about this, but I wanted to get it out of the way too. 2 hours of battery life is not nearly enough, and a very simple fix would be to just ship it with another battery so you could hot swap it out and not have to have any charging downtime. But instead, what they decided to do is probably make you pay $500 extra for an extra battery, so you don't need to do that, because Apple, of course they're going to do it. Now, it does make sense as to why the battery life is so little. You have a 4K display for each eye, 15 different cameras and sensors, an M2 and an R1 chip, but it's still little and it's still a problem, and it's not going to make this headset any more approachable to anyone who's willing to pay that $3,500 price tag. Third thing, it has onboard audio, which is great, but the onboard audio is in the form of speakers, which means if you want to use this thing on a plane like they marketed, you're going to need to pay up another $250 for AirPods if you don't have them already, in order to actually not let everyone on the plane hear the entire plot of The Mandalorian. So that doesn't make any sense as well. Now, this is leaning on my first point a little bit, but they mentioned this as being able to take over your $2,000 PC, monitors, setup, all of that in one big device, right? But I don't think that's going to be the case in any way, shape, or form, because, like I said, thermal throttling is going to kill this thing for sure, especially without any fans, and with all of the cameras and sensors, that's not going to help. And the 2-hour battery life tells us this because of how much wattage it's drawing from that big bulky battery that you need to shove into your pocket, because it was so heavy they couldn't even find a way to put it onto your head without it actually hurting. So that's probably why they put it in the pocket. So assuming that it's going to get hot, and if it's going to get hot, then there's a 90% chance that it's probably not going to be able to do anything well. And you're going to be better off just buying either a MacBook, or better yet, building your own custom PC so that you can get actual good performance. Now, the M2 chip is very efficient and very good at what it does, but I still do not think it's going to be able to be in conjunction with another R1 chip and still not thermal throttle literally to the moon. I mean, I am definitely going to be surprised if this thing doesn't heat up your face like you're staring into the surface of the sun. I mean, seriously, 2 chips with 4K displays and like 7 cameras and sensors in the front of that little tiny glass packet that looks like a ski mask, which honestly doesn't even look that bad. But either way, I seriously do not believe they're going to be able to do this, and I would be extremely surprised if there is not any thermal throttling issues and it can actually keep up with even the likes of the M1 Mac. Now remember, like I said at the beginning, I do like this headset. It's really cool and all of the features are sick, but you've already heard enough people telling you about all the cool features, so I figured I'd tell you the cons. Now, I'm just telling you this again to make sure you remember that I do not hate this headset, and I actually really think it's amazing, but it is still plagued with issues, and I really do not see how Apple are going to fix these issues. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and that has been the end of this video, and those are all of my real concerns for the Apple Vision Pro. Hope you enjoyed, blah, 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 subscribe or something, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.